So good morning. Yesterday, President Dilma had a breakfast with the press. I was always wondering why the press got breakfast and the Brazilians get no free lunch. No? So, she told to the press, they said that 2016 will be a remarkable year. That was quoting President Dilma. And so.
It continues not to. I told you it was going to be a difficult year.
We're going to. So, first question that I'm going to present three surveys. The first two surveys are telephone surveys that we run in the last week of last year, and another telephone survey that we ran actually in 2016, the first week. And the third one is a survey, but it's not like a statistical survey. I shoot some questions by WhatsApp to congressmen and senators, and they came back with answers, so I'm going to present that. First, I got a good picture of President Dilma, and I told Teresa and Monica to come in red to make a tribute to her. So this is the first survey. First question: do you believe 2016 will be, to Brazil as a country, would be better, would be worse, or would be the same? So 40% of the people think it would be worst. 35% are with Dilma, think it'd be better. I don't know if it's remarkable, but would be better. Last year, it was the other way around. 45% of people thought that 2015 would be better than 2014. So this year, people are more pessimistic. Talking about the economy itself, then it's kind of 70% of the people think 2016 will be worst compared to 2015. That for the first time, people are agreeing with the economists about forecasting things. So, and that was I heard the other day a good thing. I'm an economist as well, and one of the economists said, "We don't make forecasts because we want. We make forecasts because you ask to do." So that's what we ask people when there is a huge pessimism about the economy in 2016. How about the politics? Politics is losing by a very small margin to the economy, but it's still a very pessimistic scenario. I thought we got the worst of politics in 2015, but be ready that things could be worse. Imagine, in 2015 we had a Congress in Brazil that the President of the Senate and the President of the House would be investigated in a scandal of corruption. And almost 10% of the people in the Congress would be investigated as well. So it's kind of a unique scenario. In your personal opinion, President Dilma, government, will be able to make your life better in 2016? About 80% said no, they're not going to be able to make my life better. I think Professor Friedman from University of Chicago would be very proud of saying that. He once quoted me that said that no government makes life people better. So this is kind of going in that direction. But there is a hope. That's the best thing about. When you talk about your personal life, do you think 2016 would be a better year?
That's Brazil.
So that's 65% are very optimistic about the personal life. Maybe they are like soccer fans of a good team, not the case of Fabiano Sino, of course.
Yes.
And but maybe we run the survey during the New Year's time in Brazil, and everybody has the hope that between December 31st and January 1st everything changes. So maybe, but I got a quote from Gilberto Gil, former Minister of Culture and very famous singer, that he once said that Brazilians are by definition happy and screwed. So that's the combination of the survey. We got a second survey that was run in 2016, this week, beginning of this week, by telephone as well. And we asked, based on our personal knowledge, who is the current Minister of Finance? About 58% said they don't know. And I was talking to a colleague of mine from the university here, and they said probably in the United States, people, 60% don't know who is the U.S. Treasury Secretary as well.
Yeah.
So that's not a, and he told me that in the U.S., the president of the central bank is much more known than the Minister of Finance or the Treasury Secretary. But there are still people thinking that Guido Mantega is the Minister of Finance. So that's just,
People still
right?
think that.
And Joaquim Levy, so some people were not told that Levy left in the end of last year. But we have 20% of very well-informed people that read Monica's and Paulo's articles in the paper. No, Nelson Barbosa is the... I didn't put the option Joaquim Barbosa. That would be another option. That would be a good combination. But only for those who knows, the 20% that knows about the Nelson Barbosa, do you think the Brazilian economy are better off, worse off, or the same with Nelson Barbosa as the head of the economy? And they say worst, 62%. They are more pessimistic about Nelson Barbosa. That should be a selection bias that people that know don't like him. But anyway. And I tried the following sentence. Lava Jato investigation, please, does jeopardize the Brazilian economic recovery? There is a, last year President Dilma commented that she had the idea that the Lava Jato was hurting the economy. And 65% disagree with that. So they don't think the issue of the economic recovery is based on the Lava Jato. But we also asked it, would you support the Lava Jato investigation suspension if that could improve the Brazilian economic situation?
That's amazing.
That's a huge no, and that's a huge support for the investigation itself. And I have to say that President Dilma is a huge supporter of the investigation. She highlights that every single time she talks to the press. So it's not something that the government itself is not supporting. I was about to say about the Japanese from the federal police, but Paulo stole my comments. But last month we ran a survey for presidential elections from one of our clients, and we had this spontaneous question that we don't give options to the respondents. Who do you think would be the next president? Who would you vote for? And Japanese from federal police got 2%. So he's becoming a superstar on the. But also Pope Francis got 2% as well. So that's.
All right.
And that question I made for Teresa, for Otaviano, for Monica, because we know the good work that IMF does globally. And do you think that Brazil need IMF support in 2016? So that's a very tight race. So 45% yes, 46% no. I don't know if people fully understand what does it mean about IMF support, but that was the question. And only for those who think Brazil will need IMF support, after the IMF support, the Brazil can be worse off. And I always, I've never told this to an IMF official, but if the IMF really believe that they're doing a good job, they should hire a public relations firm. Because every country that I go, people think that life is worse with IMF. So, last year, President Dilma told us that this CPMF is the tax on financial transactions. And she said CPMF is the only way to balance the budget. So what we did, we sent, we asked the congressmen, congresswomen, and the senators. We sent questions by cellular phone, specifically by WhatsApp. Some people claim that they pay much more attention to the cellular phone than to the sessions itself. I don't know, João worked there, can tell me more. I have a very funny story about last year on the senator in the Congress. You know, they shut down access to porno sites in the Congress. And everybody complained. So it's but they changed it, they came back. They now everything is open, a lot of transparency there. But anyway, we shoot a poll by WhatsApp, I have to say here that I didn't have any intention to do a sampling, to do any statistical distribution. It was just a matter of sending the question to all of phones that we had, that was almost 100%. And the answers that came back was 188 congressmen and House members and 25 senators. And it was funny because this was in the week that Delcidio Amaral went to prison. So my sample got reduced in that week, but anyway, I still sent to. So first question, do you believe that the House Senate will approve the recreation of the CPMF 2016? They sound pessimistic about that, but I have to tell you that I myself, and then I want to hear my colleagues as well, I think that this is going to be approved in 2016, not because of the government ability to interact with the Congress, but because all the state governments, they need the CPMF, so that's kind of a survival issue. So I believe that this doesn't reflect what's going to happen. Another question do you vote and approve the minimal retirement age? This is a critical issue to increase the minimum age to retire, and that will tackle the pension dynamics that's hurting the Brazilian finances. Then all the economists here can comment on that. Do you think they will vote and approve the minimum wage indexation? So that's another important topic. They're very pessimistic about that. And this is a very interesting question. All those last questions that I mentioned, they have bills being discussed in the House. This question, there is no bill actually in that time being discussed at all, but they are very optimistic about approving a flexibility on the labor laws. And that has one reason from the ones that I talked to. There's a lot of pressure right now in unemployment in Brazil, so if you talk to any congressman or congresswoman, now they know that in their states, people are suffering with employment. So this is something that unites them, but actually in practice, there is no bill that reflects that. But anyway, they were more optimistic on that. And the last question that I asked, do you believe that President will finish her term in office? So they are said yes. Of course, the no's come from the opposition, whatever the opposition is at that moment. And so there are two things in Brazil that are hard to follow, the stock market and who is the coalition in the Congress. So at that moment, and I firmly believe that as of today, and I want to hear João on that, it's going to be very unlikely that the opposition has the votes to go through the impeachment process. So I think as of today, the impeachment is very unlikely from the Congress, not on the methods of the step-by-step, this impeachment step-by-step process, but only the votes. So with that, with the things that basically in summary saying that economy is going to be worse, politics is terrible. I don't know who is the Minister of Finance, but my life is going to be better. No? Okay.
Thank you, Mauricio.